Hey guys, I'm Alex Garner, and this is the neuroscience of alcohol. What it is actually doing to your brain and how to take it back. Now, your brain is the most sophisticated piece of hardware ever built. It manages 86 billion neurons. It processes sensory data faster than any computer known to man. It runs your emotions, your decisions, your memory, your motivation, and your identity. But there is one legal, widely available, socially celebrated substance that disrupts nearly every system in that hardware simultaneously. Now, you already know what I'm talking about, but what you probably do not know is the exact mechanism, the specific chemistry, the precise way that alcohol gets into your reward circuits and slowly rewires them around itself. Because once you understand the mechanism, you can stop blaming yourself and you start solving the actual problem. I'm Alex Garner. I'm a neuroscience-backed sober life coach, and I spent years studying the science of alcohol and the brain to build the Sober Method, which is a 12-week coaching program that has helped high performers, executives, and CEOs quit drinking for good without shame, labels, and white-knuckling it. Today, I'm going to break down the neuroscience of alcohol at a level that will completely change how you see this. So let us start with the most important thing: what alcohol actually does to your brain. Most people think of alcohol as a relaxant, and in the first hour, that is partially accurate. But the full picture is far more complicated and far more damaging. Alcohol affects your brain through 4 primary mechanisms, and understanding all 4 is essential. The first mechanism is GABA. Okay, this is GABA enhancement. GABA is your brain's primary inhibitory neurotransmitter. It is the brake system, the calm signal. And when GABA fires, your nervous system downshifts, anxiety softens, tension releases. Alcohol powerfully enhances GABA activity. This is where the relaxation feeling comes from. This is real. The calm is neurologically real. But here's the problem. Your brain is adaptive, and when it detects that an external substance is doing the work for GABA, it reduces its own natural production, and it downregulates your internal calm system. So over time, you need alcohol to feel calm, because your brain's natural calm mechanism has been outsourced to the substance. This is the neurological foundation of physical dependence. The second mechanism is glutamate suppression. Glutamate is your brain's primary neurotransmitter. It drives alertness, cognition, memory formation, and learning. Now, alcohol suppresses glutamate activity. This is why you feel mentally slowed, why memories from a night of drinking are fragmented or missing, why complex thought becomes harder. The third mechanism is dopamine disruption, and this is where it gets critical. Alcohol triggers a massive release of dopamine in the nucleus accumbens, your brain's primary reward center. The hit is large, artificially large, larger than your brain can produce from natural rewards like food, connection, achievement, or exercise. But your brain remembers this. It files it under most important thing for survival, and then it adapts. So what happens is it reduces your dopamine receptor sensitivity, and it lowers the baseline. It starts requiring the alcohol just to feel normal. Now, natural rewards stop registering. Food tastes less interesting. Achievement feels flat. Connection feels hollow. You are not depressed. You are dopamine depleted. And alcohol created that condition. The fourth mechanism is prefrontal cortex suppression. The prefrontal cortex is the seat of executive function, decision-making, impulse control, emotional regulation, long-term planning, empathy, strategic thinking. Alcohol suppresses prefrontal cortex activity faster than any other substance. One drink measurably reduces prefrontal function within minutes, and chronic drinking reduces gray matter volume in this region over time. So for a high performer, this is the most devastating impact. because every skill that built your career lives in the prefrontal cortex, and you are regularly suppressing and slowly degrading the most important professional tool you have. The dopamine spiral, why it gets worse over time. Understanding the dopamine system is essential to understanding why alcohol dependency progresses the way it does. And here is the mechanism. Every time alcohol causes a dopamine spike, your brain compensates by lowering the baseline. This is called downregulation. Your brain is trying to maintain homeostasis. It does not want to stay at artificially elevated levels. So the spike gets smaller, and the crash after the spike gets lower than before. This is tolerance. This is why you need more over time to feel the same effect, because your reward system has adapted to the elevated input. But here's the part that rarely gets explained clearly. When alcohol wears off, dopamine does not return to baseline. It dips below baseline. That dip is the crash. That is the Sunday anxiety. That is the Monday morning dread. That is the hollow, flat, unmotivating feeling that hits in the hours and days after drinking. Your baseline keeps dropping, and normal life keeps registering as less and less rewarding. This is the most insidious effects of chronic alcohol use on high performers, because it is subtle. It does not announce itself. You just start feeling like your drive is gone. Your ambition is less sharp. Things that used to excite you feel gray. And because you are still functional, still performing externally, you do not connect the flatness to the alcohol. You chalk it up to stress or burnout or just getting older. But the neuroscience is clear. That flatness is biochemical and it is reversible. Your dopamine system heals when you remove the substance disrupting it. So within 30 days of sobriety, most people experience what I call the waking up effect. Colors look more vivid, food tastes better, music hits differently. Laughter comes more easily. This is not a placebo. This is your dopamine receptors coming back online and your brain recalibrating to natural reward. The motivation returns every time for every client I have ever worked with. But it requires stopping the cycle that is suppressing it. What alcohol does to your sleep, the hidden cost. This section surprises people every time, because most people who drink regularly believe that alcohol helps them sleep. Now they are only partially right and almost entirely wrong. Alcohol does help you fall asleep faster. That part is accurate. But what happens during sleep after drinking is the opposite of recovery. Sleep happens in cycles. Each cycle includes stages of light sleep, deep sleep, and REM sleep. REM sleep, or rapid eye movement sleep, is where the real work happens. Memory consolidation, emotional processing, neural repair, prefrontal cortex restoration, learning integration. Alcohol powerfully suppresses REM sleep. Even 2 drinks in the evening measurably reduces REM duration and quality, even if you sleep a full 8 hours. So what you get instead is unconsciousness, not restoration. Your brain is not running its maintenance cycle. It is sedated. This is why you wake up after a full night of sleep following drinks feeling unrested. Your body was unconscious, but your brain did not recover. Over time, the accumulated REM deficit compounds. Short-term memory degrades. Emotional regulation weakens. Cognitive performance declines. And here is the loop that no one talks about. Poor sleep raises cortisol. Elevated cortisol increases anxiety and stress. Stress increases the urge to drink. Drinking suppresses REM sleep, which raises cortisol. You are not managing stress with alcohol. You are running a loop that guarantees more stress. For executives tracking HRV on Oura rings and optimizing sleep with blackout curtains and magnesium, this is the data point that changes everything. Nothing in your sleep optimization stack compensates for what alcohol is doing to your REM architecture. The single most impactful sleep upgrade available to you has nothing to do with supplements. It is in your glass. The brain heals, and here is the timeline. Here's the part I want you to hold on to through everything else I have said. The brain is neuroplastic. It changes, it adapts, it heals. The same mechanism that allowed alcohol to rewire your brain around itself works in reverse. Here is what the research talks about with the healing timeline. 72 hours after your last drink, your GABA and glutamate systems begin rebalancing. Your nervous system starts the recalibration process. For some people, this window includes discomfort, like anxiety, restlessness, disrupted sleep. This is your brain adjusting. It is a sign that the process has started. Around day 7, sleep quality measurably improves for most people. REM cycles begin lengthening. Most people notice a difference in how they feel in the morning within the first week. Around day 14, emotional regulation begins strengthening. The prefrontal cortex is coming back online. Patience returns. The emotional reactivity that chronic drinking creates starts softening. And around day 30, natural dopamine production begins normalizing. This is where the waking up effect happens for most people. The flatness lifts. Natural reward starts registering again. Food, exercise, connection, achievement. Now, day 60 to 90, cognitive function improves measurably. Memory consolidation improves. Executive function returns. Many people report that this is when they best professionally work in years. Research by Diage and others confirms that the brain builds new neural pathways through consistent, intentional practice at any age. The structural damage caused by chronic alcohol use is not permanent. Gray matter volume in the prefrontal cortex shows measurable recovery with sustained sobriety. Your brain wants to heal. It is designed to heal. It begins the process the moment you stop blocking it. So 72 hours is where it starts. That's this weekend. That is a decision that you can make right now. This is the sober method and how we rebuild the system. Understanding the neuroscience is the foundation, but understanding alone does not rebuild the system. You need a structure, a framework, a step-by-step process for replacing what alcohol hijacked with something that actually serves you. That is what the sober method is. 12 weeks, 3 phases. Phase 1 is reflect. We go to the roots, not just the behavior, the mechanism underneath it, the triggers, the habit loops, the beliefs, the emotional patterns that alcohol has been managing. This is the phase that most programs skip, and it is why most programs fail. If you only remove the behavior without addressing what was driving it, it always comes back. Phase 2 is rewire. This is the neuroscience phase. We use evidence-based tools to deliberately build new neural pathways, like breath work, which activates your parasympathetic nervous system and creates the calm state alcohol was mimicking without the crash. Like visualization, which rehearses the sober version of you in enough detail that your brain begins to treat it as familiar, as practiced, as possible. Like affirmations, which when repeated with emotion and consistency, literally build new neural architecture around a new identity. Like habit stacking, which anchors new behavioral sequences to existing cues so that the new pattern becomes automatic. And finally, the notice shift rewire method. This is for managing cravings in real time, recognizing the neural trigger, interrupting it deliberately, and replacing it with a chosen response. Phase 3 is reinvent. This is where the transformation becomes permanent. You do not just stop drinking. You become someone who does not drink. That identity change is the behavior follows automatically, without willpower, without sacrifice. Because you are not fighting a habit anymore. You are living from a new identity. This is the difference between people who relapse and people who do not. The relapse group changed their behavior. The success group changed their identity. And the sober method is built to take you all the way to identity change, not just behavior change. And it works consistently across every type of person I have ever worked with, because it's built on science, not on shame, not on powerlessness, not on willpower, on science. So here's what to do next. You now understand more about what alcohol is doing to your brain than most people will ever know. You understand the GABA mechanism, the dopamine spiral, the REM suppression, the prefrontal cost, and you now understand that the brain heals, that the system is reversible, that the timeline is faster than most people think. Now, what you do with that understanding is up to you. If you are ready to take the next step, I want to invite you to book a free sober method reset call with me. This is not a pitch, it is a conversation. We talk about where you actually are, what is costing you, what you have already tried, and what has not worked and why. And then I tell you honestly what I see, and whether the sober method is the right fit for you. No pressure, no shame, no labels. Just clarity. The link is in the description below. If this video helped you, please share it, because someone in your network is living exactly what we talked about today. And they need the science more than they need another person telling them just to try harder. Science changes the frame, and changing the frame changes everything. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for joining me.